So we've now completed the finishing stage of our LPJ guitar kit. So from here we need to install hardware, electronics, and then do a final setup. Okay, so the first thing we need to do obviously is install our neck. As we did originally, we're going to push that heel in first and then bring the neck down. This is especially important now that we've applied finish to the guitar. The finish on the edge is susceptible to chipping, so we need to take care when we install our neck. Then we'll flip the guitar over. Now in your packaging you should have a neck plate with 4 long screws, and the neck plate will have a rubber backing just to protect the finish. So this is all fairly self-explanatory. And that's our neck attached. Okay, so one of the first hardware tasks we've got is installing the strap buttons. Now strap buttons are actually pretty important. If you don't have your strap buttons located in the right place, it can affect the balance of the guitar when you're playing with the strap. And of course we need them embedded into the timber well, otherwise we don't want the screws coming out of the guitar while we're playing with the strap on the body as well. Generally speaking, I like to use this low tack painter's masking tape when it comes to marking the body, because we're going to need to make some marks when we're installing our hardware. So it's a good idea to have a roll of that on hand if you can. It's pretty easy to find center on this particular guitar. We've got a spalted maple veneer top and it's book matched, so we've got a center line running through the guitar. If you don't have a veneer top or it's not book matched, you can measure between the 2 bridge post holes and then using a set square just find center. The width on these bodies is usually around 42 mil. When you've added some finish you can get up to about 45. So what you want to do is measure that. It'll be about 45 mil, find center, mark it on the low tack masking tape, and then what I do, I've just got a little sharpened off precision screwdriver that I use. I just mark the hole here and remove the tape. And then next we want to drill our pilot holes. So whenever we're installing screws on the body of the guitar, we want to drill pilot holes. The reason being, these screws are fairly small and fragile, so we don't want to strip them as they're going in. Now, when it comes to pilot holes, you want to use a drill bit that's approximately 2/3 the width of the screw you're going to be installing. And the other thing is the depth. Now we only want to drill our pilot holes 2/3 depth of the screws. That's the amount of the screw that's going into the body. So as you can see here, the threaded area of the screw that's going into the body is only about half of the actual length of the screw itself. So one thing you can do, if you've got a drill bit, is just using some tape, just mark about 2/3 the way down the drill bit, and that'll give you an indication of your depth. Once you've got that in place, hold the drill as straight as possible, drill your pilot holes, and just stop when you get to the depth of the tape you've just installed. So a quick and easy way to find the location for the strap button on the front of the guitar. Now this should go somewhere about 1.5 inches up from where the neck joins the body. But one way I found it's actually quite easy to line these up. If you've got a dog-eared style P90 pickup with your LPJ guitar kit, one thing you can do is put the pickup in the pickup cavity like so, and that front strap button will be almost exactly in line with the top of the pickup. As you can see, I've marked my hole there. So I had put the low tack painter's masking tape on here, measured down 22.5 and marked my hole. So I'll just drill my pilot hole now. And again, I'm just going to chamfer the outside of that hole just to protect from any of the finished chipping. So just a quick tip when it comes to locating and then installing your truss rod cover. So one thing I've done, this nut width is 42 mil, so I've measured 21 across, put 2 pieces of that low tack painter's masking tape in place, and I've just lined the holes up with the line and then marked my holes. And from there, drilled my pilot holes and installed the truss rod cover as we just did with the strap buttons. Again, I've chamfered that hole, and I've also double checked my depth when I was drilling my pilot holes. Obviously the last thing you want to do is go all the way through your headstock. And these screws are very small and fragile, and a neck is a hardwood, so we do want to drill these holes carefully. So next we'll install our tuners. So the tuners are fairly simple as well. The tuner itself goes from the back of the headstock, the washer sits over the top, and we've got a bushing that we tighten that secures the washer in place. Now because this is a 3-a-side headstock, we need to separate our tuners into left and right. And then once we've got those in place, we can simply go about hand tightening them. So the screw attachment is what keeps the tuner secured to the back of the headstock. So just make sure that's pointing down. You may also need to clear out tuning peg holes, especially if you've got some finish that's ended up down there. I'm just thumb tightening these for now. Okay, so once you've installed or hand tightened the tuners in place, flip the guitar over, and one of the easiest ways to align your tuners is just to align them relative to each other. So I'm just using a steel rule here, just aligning the edges up nicely. Once that's in place, I'm just going to mark the location of those holes.